What's up, guys? It's Mr. Janvid, and today we are back on the Pokemon Showdown server. I missed you guys. If you didn't see yesterday's upload, it was Uber Sunday. Shedinja went crazy, so definitely check that out. But today's team is going to be featuring Lele. I think I may have used Lele in the last. I don't remember. But I wanted to use my guy, Raymond St. John's team, a very long time subscriber. Guys, if you want to leave me a team, the link is in the description. It literally says post your teams here, so you can't miss it. So just drop your teams there, and very high likelihood I'll use it. So pretty simplistic team, nothing too crazy, but I know he's had some success in the 1800s, and so we're definitely gonna be checking that out. So let's hop on now. Shout outs to my guy VV, right? If you guys were watching around a week ago, remember this was the guy that was like, I had a goal of getting to 1500 and I wouldn't move from the computer until I did it, and he had this entire journey, right? That was just last week. His goal coming from 1100 to get to 1500, and he did it using the principles in the academy, and now my man's almost 1800 a week later. Like, it's when the success never stops, man, and I'm really glad to see that. I haven't played OU in a damn near a week, I think, so it feels so good to be back. So immediately what I noticed is his Lele susceptibility. Depending on what the Melmetal is, I'm excited to see how the metagame is evolved. Looks like a really fun look. I like the look of his team. Pumped. Immediately what I noticed is his susceptibility to Pheromosa's triple axle. I've recently learned triple axle is flawed. But let's break it down. So Moltres' core purpose is going to be for Melmetal, taking on those Iron Bashes that can heal comfortably versus Moltres. Now his Stealth Rocker is Landorus, my Defogger is Moltres, and so we got to be a little careful about that. Tapu Lele unguardable if it's not heavy, if it's not Assault Vest Melmetal. If that's the case, it's a little weaker. So Toxapex can easily deal with that. Pheromosa, great speed, great pivot, forces in Moltres at all times. So that's going to be handsome. Toxapex guards well against Melmetal, guards well against Moltres. Very difficult for him to deal with, in fact. Toxapex is going to be critical. Landers, speed control, revenge, moving rocks, and then Ferrothorn gets a leech seed every time and removes items. So Toxapex you're going to learn and see is a very, very important member, as we're likely going to be seeing, doesn't matter, as long as it's not Melmetal. So it crossed my mind that Coco could be his lead of choice. But what I want to do here is, do I need my full health on my Lele? I do not. Let's Psychic first. So he has U-turn and he's Life Orb. I actually was going to pivot to my Landers there. So he's Max Spadef, Assault Vest. And so he could pivot back to Tapu Koko here. That makes sense to me. Right. So I know the type of player he is now, as I'll go to my Landers Therian form. Because it just had the speed advantage. The Force and Lander. The fact that he double switched there lets me know, because he doesn't know anything about me, just lets me know he's more of a reactionary style. Or I have something on my team that he's afraid of. Torn doesn't really make much sense here. Yeah, I mean, because Hurricane doesn't kill me, HPS is no longer a thing. And so I'm thinking, what are the reasons why I'd want? Because I swear if he hits his heart, I knew he'd do some shit like that. Like, I knew he'd do some shit like that he just did. And now this puts me in a spot where I lose potentially my Landers. Now I can win without Landers. And I can't have this thing just... Okay, I'll just attack again. That's frustrating. I guess Icy Wind is a thing. He's Life Orb. But it gives me, again, insight. So let's look at what we have in store. Now, Moltres defensively handles a good bit of his team. Melmetal, He's Moltres with Toxapex. And so Toxapex is almost unbeatable at this point. And so since my Landorus is gone, I'd assume he'd try to prioritize Zapdos, something of that nature. Either way, Pheromosa is always going to be my best play, as he opts for his Zapdos. Now, you know, I'd assume he'd go Moltres to cover for this. I don't need Pheromosa, but if he goes to Moltres on my triple axle and I get burnt, I'm not going to be pleased. Or if he U-turns and I get burnt, I'm not going to be pleased. So what I'm going to do is go to Toxapex as he opts for Moltres. Excellent. And this allows for me to Toxic because he's going to mindlessly Scorching Sand. And that's going to be a big deal. He actually has U-turn. So Melmetal literally is the only thing that he could go to not get beat. Okay, awesome. And so positionally, this allows for Ferrothorn to come in. And he's just going to Brave Bird here. So I'm not even going to switch. Besides, Ferrothorn isn't the most important. So Brave Birds, and that's the biggest threat to my team is now about to die. And so I'll have Pex, let's see. Pex takes half, knocks him out with Helmet. What would he need to bring in to KO me? Coco, Orlando, both of which I'm fine with positionally. So half, and then I'll be back to about 80%. And so there comes the Landorus. And so now at this point, not still could use some work, but a bit easier to deal with as he goes for Toxic. That's actually great because that means now that Moltres cannot burn me, and he's gonna stay in. Yeah, I just, come on. Nice. There's just I'm actually really glad that game went that way. Not because I won, but I always emphasize, guys, the biggest thing that causes those spikes in people's points is, one, watching the series, but the thing I hear most is, hey, I started figuring out what my game plan was again. And so generally, when a player hops into a game, the biggest, and if you're new, like if you're in the lower rungs and you're working your way up, then follow the part of the process that I mentioned. So always work on where you are. And so if you're new, don't ignore what I'm saying right now. I'm talking about somebody who may be, 1600 and they're or 1500 and they're like, I'm not sure what I'm doing incorrectly. And I noticed over time of working with hundreds and hundreds, nobody has more insight on me than this. And so trust me when I say they're very predictable patterns for why a certain player is stuck at a certain stage. And so it's probably your game planning. And so you don't game plan, you go and you say, I think he's gonna, and then you react. I think he's gonna, then you're gonna react. Thinking, and you'll get you some wins with people who think like you. But when you face somebody who knows how to game plan, you lose 9 times out of 10. And so that's just something to keep in mind, moving forward with your progress. As let's see, let's break this down. So Moltres' core purpose is to Volcarona. That's something I haven't seen in quite some time. That's gonna be tricky. Yeah, Volk is something I'm gonna have to keep Pex at full. Volk is something I haven't seen in quite some time. Moltres can wall it if I Toxic it. And so let's see what's Toxapex's purpose. It's actually really just to check that Moltres. So I don't have very many reasons to send it out other than that. And so let's break it down. Moltres for Volcarona, for Celesteela, and probably some Meteor Beam sets. So I gotta be careful of the Celesteela, honestly. Pex is for Celesteela too. Garchomp, Marowak. So it leads Sack Chomp or Showdown. Okay, Chomp this. And so Ferrothorn is gonna be very important as well. And so on the off chance he's prioritized Hail, something in my gut tells me that this could be like Scarfini or something. U-turn is too high of a possibility. And so I really want to start with overwhelming him. Like Pex. So I'll Ferrothorn here. So he does, right. So that gives me insight already, because right there, Pheromosa could have just U-turned, you know, and so you would have given me a ton of momentum. But he's definitely the type of player that's like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to predict what he's gonna do, and da 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 da. He's that type of player, and so Stealth Rocks goes up. Not the biggest deal in the world. He can't really deal with landers, to be fair, but upside, actually, I'll knock here. Celestila's coming in if he had it. So it's Assault Vest, which means I was curious about Meteor Beam and stuff like that. But since that's the case, he's gonna go to his Moltres here. I mean his Ninetales here, or he's gonna double back out just based on how he plays. And so what I'll do is knock off again. Let's see what he goes for. Earthquake. That doesn't make sense if Moltres was the anticipated mon, but Heavy Slams. I like a burn there. No. And so this allows for us to defog. I wonder what he's going for. Oh, what? Fuck. What? That's bad. Because now Volcarona, that was my Volcarona answer. Now, Scale Shot makes sense as he pivots to Volt. This is actually perfect. This, I could not have asked for a better turn. Especially if he leaves this in. Because I 2-hit KO everything on his team now. I'm really glad that he went Volcarona. Again, no real game plan on his end as Fini comes in. Psyshock again is free. There's no real reason to double, but since he doubles around, Marowak coming in would lose me a lot of momentum as he goes for Ninetales. Not ideal, but he doesn't have a setup mon that I can't beat. Volk. Because basically what I'm trying to do here is get in a situation where, okay, I know what I'll do. Let him Aurora Veil. Because Volcarona is going to come in, and then I'll just have to outplay the Volk. Unless it's sub. Sub would suck. But I do have haste. So there's the Volcarona. I hard Pex since he gave me the Mystery Terrain. Pex takes 1 Psychic because of just his natural bulk. Unless this is Life Orb, that would be bad. So that's why I Moltres. Okay, it's excellent. Alright, fuck. Fuck, I forgot about the damn shit. I forgot about the Misty Terrain. Oh, that's bad. That's very bad for me. I could see Quiver again. Psychics though. Psychic did 76. Damn. So I could see him Quiver Dancing again here. That makes sense to me because then you knock me out with the next one. But he may think that he already sweeps, so perhaps not. I threw this game, but it is what it is. So he does Psychic. So Pex is at 80, which means it tanks. Let's see. Ferrothorn is necessary for nothing else. I'll Leech Seed as he does Quiver. That's actually not horrible for us. If he Psychics here, kudos. This is pretty obvious, but I really want to stay in here and knock. He Fire Blasted. I didn't think he would. So that's not good. So yeah, I threw this game. I had the whole structure planned out, but now he can just fire out Psychics repeatedly. But yeah. I completely forgot about the Misty Terrain, that one turn. So basically what I was supposed to do there was go to something that Volk has to attack and then sack that, then go to Toxapex and Toxicate. Then the game would have been done. Yeah. So let's see. What's good? So Sun... not too problem. It depends. I don't know the roles. My Moltres has a bit of SPDEF, so I don't know the role on Heatran. So prioritizing, just close a vid of here actually. Let's see. Good luck. I was gonna say, let me see the work. So Moltres' core purpose in this one. Well, on Moltres being in, it doesn't have a good Moltres switching period, especially with him setting up the sun. As it rely heavily on Hydreigon, so we're gonna find out quickly what that is. Sun plus Heatran is generally like Scarf or Spec, something like that. And so I'm assuming Clef is gonna be Rocker. Perhaps Landorus is Stealth Rock as well. I mean Choice Scarf as well. And so we have to break it down to where, okay, for me to really hammer his team, Ferrothorn doesn't do crazy much. It's decent, but it'll depend on what his Venusaur has. Landorus' purpose is to hazard remove. I mean, like item remove. Do I want Rock Spikes? So we're gonna find out early what that Hydreigon is. It actually starts with Clef, which surprises me, as I can free to fire from Moonblast. Now, if he is, he'd never go Hydreigon here. Hydreigon doesn't make sense. If I was Spec Psychic, that would mean that Pheromosa is opened up significantly. Like, he doesn't know what kind of Pheromosa I am. And so to me, he absolutely needs this, but the upside of me Moonblasting, if Heatran comes in, because that's the only thing that could take this hit well, of Heatran coming in, is its eruption is weakened with every attack, right? And so the thing that would lose me the most momentum would be Psychic. Now, because I'm so out of practice, I can feel, usually my brain can calculate the game plans very well, as he soft boils and he's Choice Scarf. I guess he's Trick Scarf, because he just outsped me, unless I just missed something. Oh, he thought I was Scarf, and he wanted to soft boil to see. Should have just switched. Now I could predict his trend, but as I said, no real reason to. He doesn't have Sun Up, so he Pex guards against him, and he's taking eruption damage. That's the only thing left. He could go to the top Torkoal. So there's the Heatran. So we get 18% there. So again, eruptions are whittled. No pivot he can use can really cover for Pex. He could pivot back to Clefable, but let's see, Scarf Clefable. But he's Choice Scarf. And since I know that that's gonna be the end of him. So yeah, eruption. 44%. That means he specs. That's specs, I'm pretty sure. It did a lot to me for not to not be sun boosted. So do I need this to be a yeah, Scald is... Yeah, I'll Scald here. I could see him attempting to erupt again. But the biggest thing for me is... Because I don't need Pex to be at full. But... Yeah, I figured as much. And so here... A pivot to Venusaur or a pivot back to Heatran would make a lot of sense to me. Venusaur, Heatran. My qualm with Torkoal is that it has a lot of like statusy moves. So it could have Toxic, it could have Yawn, things of that nature. And so, since I know it's probably Specs Train, again, like there's just no way it could have done that much to me. I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to get my Moltres in. Lele loses in my mind, and so I'd assume that, yeah, Venusaur. I figured as much. And so Venusaur, unless it goes for growth, because we're free to Scorching Sands here. Hydreigon should come in every time. Heatran should never come in on this. But the big thing about this is the fact that the Hydreigon's do I need the damage on Hydreigon? It depends. I don't know what Hydreigon are running these days. I don't see very many of them. The reason I don't want to actually, because Heatran might be faster than me. That's why I don't want to. He actually does go Tran. Interesting. And so now he can't erupt, which is a big deal. I know sometimes he's run ancient power, so I'm gonna. That's a big deal because if I went for flamethrower, and then he went to Heatran, if he's timid specs, he killed him on. Whereas Venusaur would need a lot of support in order to get the work done. And so it does have ancient power. Thankfully, that doesn't matter too much for in our case. And so this allows for us to pivot out to whatever we want, really. I like Landers a lot because Landers prevents the prevented the I want to Stone Edge here. I'm gonna Stone Edge mid ground. It kills Clef and it covers 4 damage. Okay, so Landers in. As long as my scarf is intact, I'm Gucci. And so it seems like, again, it could be Rock's Torkoal too. I suppose I didn't really can't consider that. Ferrothorn literally, well, the Rocky Helmet I knew was gonna have, but everything he can go into, I can position well versus. Only his fire types lead with Ferrothorn, and if he asks for Clefable in order to get the interesting, so growth doesn't help as much as Pex has a mid ground, so he has Weather Ball. I wasn't sure if he did. Sometimes they have Earth Power for Tren, but he could be one that's rocking both. And so we get to Lele here. Excellent. So he can't guard against Moonblast unless it's Venusaur or Torkoal. Otherwise, he's gonna have to give me his Heatran. If he doesn't, it could be U-turn. So I get his Heatran, so I no longer have to worry about that. I can click Flamethrower freely. And so at this point, let's look at what's great, right? Pheromosa is pretty dope. Rocks coming out, but I 2 KO Torkoal anyway. And so that's an important turn because now his goal would be to try to get the Venusaur in order to get some mileage out of it, right? And so in order for me to prevent that, let's Moltres first. I didn't think he'd hard Venusaur. That was nugget. Like me Moonblasting would have 3 KO'd him or dropped his special attack. I wasn't predicting Venusaur there. Moltres was just the best play to cover for Venusaur. Honestly, probably the best play there would have been Pheromosa because it prevented Venusaur from setting up. And so him going Landers means he can no longer easily outspeed me, unless he was just fearing Scorching Sand. But then you wouldn't switch, right? But yeah, so a better the second game, I can't believe I got ran up on. Typical jam things, and so we're facing what looks like Stall. I haven't faced Stall, I don't think, in a while, like hard Stall. I don't know if I faced hard Stall all Crown Tundra, or maybe I just quickly beat it, and so it's not very memorable. But let's see, he is 1706, so 1706 Stall. Very Lele is susceptible though. I think Joey beat this Stall. Anyway, knockoff is gonna go a long way. My 2 knockoffers are gonna go a long way in conjunction with Pheromosa and Lele. I think that's gonna be the core thing. You're gonna see Lele really go crazy. Now, phase 1. You can't touch Ferrothorn with this team. But I'm very Lele weak if he's the correct scent. So I'd assume maybe he attempts to knock off spam. So let's go on the offensive early. And so we have Lele versus Toxapex, which invites Corviknight. And so we're about to find out what kind of Corviknight it is. He actually goes hard to his Lele. Huh? Is he like Spadef or something? Why did he take that so well? Is that just normal damage? There's no way. This must be like something. I'm not gonna leave my Lele in versus it. I mean I don't know. This is very odd. But if he does stay, he's gonna just try to attack me anyway. Okay, this is a good matchup. Especially because this is his hazard control. So this allows for me to rocks. I know I'd get the Toxapex's item eventually since, you know, Beach Seed forced that. And so now he's gonna attempt to Scald Burn me. Fine. Oh, he has knockoff. Okay. I don't want my Ferrothorn's item gone. So this is interesting, right? Because I get to go Lele here on his attempted T-Spike. Oh, he has Toxic. That's bad. Because what I was aiming to do here is, right, 2 KO Corviknight. But now that I'm on a timer, that's bad. I didn't think he'd have Toxic too. Toxic knockoff Scald. That means he has no haze on a Sol team. Maybe he's just banking on a word that much. So be it. That's a big Toxic though. My Lele would have really eaten him up. I really shouldn't have risked that early. I should have stayed and then Scald. I had very little to lose. I could pivot back and forth between Ferrothorn. But as I said, you know, if it's a Sol team, you'd assume Haze at that point. Because he's pretty weak to Volcarona. Unlike if I had T-Spikes plus Volk, he'd probably get just swept. Well, not necessarily. I was looking at the safeguard one. I guess Quagsire could outstall it. And so, guess he's pretty weak to Pheromosa, so that's good. So we're Scorching Sands here. Try to get the burn on Pex as we do. Ah, man, I can't believe we got the Yellet. It's so toxic. Toxic Song. Okay. There's one more turn of terrain. So the Corviknight still has its leftovers, which I don't want. Because if it loses leftovers, then Lele gets a KO every time, right? And so, I wonder what the roll is on that. Let's try something real quick. So let's Lele, and we're gonna focus Blast Corviknight this time. Okay, he went Blissey. Okie doke. So let's absorb that real quick as he heals. Okay. So since he's pivoting Blissey, outside, man, I made this a lot harder for myself by being impatient there. Well, you live and you learn, you know. So let's pivot, and we're gonna be in here for a while. So Onak actually goes for Tangrowth, which is odd. Unless he has like Sleep Powder or something. So it's knockoff, no surprise there. As we Toxic, see Oscar Pex. He's gonna attempt to get up the T-Spikes. He's already lost his item. I guess all it takes is one bad predict. Oh, actually, you know, Lander is somewhat forced in Corviknight. Somewhat. Yeah, I let Layla get poisoned. Alright, guys, that should just show impatience. Toxicing there doesn't make sense. I missed the lead sheet, which matters, but because basically what I'm aiming for here is overwhelming with Pheromosa. Right, he doesn't even have Scald. Actually, I don't regret not predicting that. He didn't, because for me to not expect Haze or Scald, Like, what? So I'm guessing he's gonna attempt to switch stall, I guess. So Tangrowth with Stealth Rocks, Focus Blast. Where am I, bro? Like, where am I, guys? Help me, help me. So Landers makes sense for a couple reasons here. So he knocks. I'm actually glad he knocked there. I don't want my Landers' item in here. Focus Blast, right? What? What? Stealth Rocker is Blissey. Smoltres can't beat. But me having Stealth Rocks up sucks here. So knock off. So now he's gonna switch back out into Toxapex. As I said, me not having my item here is actually not the worst thing in the world. It just allows for me to U-turn. Excellent. We're gonna start pressure down this Tangrowth, and so we drill run here on Pex since he thinks it's invincible, and now that allows us to predict on his Corviknight. So we're gonna start really going in here as Tangrowth comes in, and then we figure back to Pheromosa on what I'm expecting to be Blissey slash Pex comes in. If I Scorching Sand there, I destroyed your Toxapex. Drill run. Why do I think he's gonna stay in here? He's definitely the type. Pex didn't make any sense there. If I Scorching Sand there, he was done. I'll U-turn. I knew it. I fucking knew he'd stay in. Well, that was my opportunity. But he stayed into fucking Toxic. That was my opportunity, guys. I'll Leech Seed. He didn't heal, though. He didn't heal the Pex. Which means he's going to go to knock on. He's going to go to Pex back again here. Yeah. But because I went Lando, you can't stay in. Nice, nice, nice. And if I U-turn here, you're fucked. So Corviknight comes in. I'll get rid of Corviknight's item. The fact that the Corviknight stayed in is actually decent. Unfortunately, Ferrothorn is getting battered down. So Pheromosa again. And now he's going to switch out into something else, predicting me to drill run since he stayed in last time. Quagsire, I'll take that, yeah. So the Pex is at, it's going to come, let's see how much it does. Might to a KO with the burn. Oh, with the crit for faux show. Faux show, Pheromosa. Too bad he has one of these. But he's like some bulky shit. Like he's something else. Which means when Lele comes in, I'm going to catch his Blissey most likely. It's just a question of what I'm going to win with, right? I think Landers maybe, or Moltres by itself, if I catch his Blissey, could do the trick. Or, I mean, not Finny. Lele isn't bad either. Because Ferrothorn can't heal. Well, Ferrothorn was good at forcing in. He might be spexed. No way you do 33 to me if you're not choice spexed. Yeah, he just left it in. Okay. Okay, so Landers. I need to get rid of these rocks, but I want the rocks at the same damn time. Because now he's at a point where he's super weak to Lele. I wonder what he has. I think he's just gonna go for U-turn or body press, something like that. Defog. Oh, he defogged for me. Blessings. Blessings. Well, my Ferrothorn's dead, so I suppose I didn't think of that. Now, did I? And so, Ferrothorn being dead matters a lot, but I can do it with, so I'm going to Scorching Sands here. It covers Toxapex. She thinks is invincible for some reason. And then we pivot to Pheromosa here. I didn't expect Corviknight, but it doesn't really matter. I love how he's barely getting any health. Love it, love it. And so the Corviknight isn't getting any health, as I said. And the little bit of chip is gonna go a long way. So we're always gonna Scorching Sands. I wonder what his... He goes Toxapex to cover for my Pheromosa double to potential Blissey. On Blissey, I mean. The reason I like Scorching Sanding is it prevents Toxapex from coming in. And healing. Can Scorching Sands miss? I don't know why I keep thinking this thing is gonna miss. And so now Blissey makes a lot of sense to me. But I'm just gonna Scorching Sands again. Yeah. Excellent. And so perhaps he's just gonna go for Seismic Toss or Stealth Rock, right? And so I get a KO here. It's just a matter of what it's gonna be. He's stalling. And so, but something dies here. Corviknight being that weakened is huge for my struggle kills this from here. Okay. So it's gonna come down to Lele. I actually should have switched out my Pheromosa versus Lele because I let him get too much health back. Okay, so Blissey's in wonder how much Triple Axle would do. It might kill Corviknight. 17, 14, 18. Come on, come on, Pharaoh. Come on, Pharaoh. I really don't like you as a Pokemon. You just made this game a lot longer for me. So Corviknight being back at full is a big problem. The thing about it is he can't really do much to me. But I can't do much back, you know? And so we're going to have to start slow playing this. Upside is he's likely going to just play the Seismic Toss. I won't die. I don't think he'd use it though. He does. I'm getting impatient. I shouldn't be playing. Like basically what I should have done was switch out Pheromosa. That way his Corviknight was low enough to where Lele can just sweep his team. Yeah, so we go double Lele here on his Blissey. He can't let me. Corviknight took 40 something. Oh, it's not enough. So I'll have to just straight up Focus Blast the Corviknight on switch, which is a shame. Hmm. 36%. So it's a like solid 45% with Side Shock. There's no way around it. Okay. Because what he's trying to do is get his Blissey in. It doesn't matter if he were to predict, but I figured he wouldn't. Okay, so these slow little U-turns are going a long way. And so next time, 45%. Yeah, 2 KO him next time. So he gets the Blissey in, which isn't great, but because I can defog so easily. In fact, I do think he's gonna go Pex here, just based on how he plays. Oh, he goes Corviknight. No. What would I do? I'd double switch Heroes though. Okay. So Pex makes no sense. So Blissey makes sense. But because I have defog, so the Corviknight healing, we got no no value out of that. And so Blissey is in, and as I said, we're just gonna have to focus blast the Corviknight as we miss. So we needed to hit that. We needed to hit that because of PP and the stalling and whatnot. It's frustrating. Now I could play this game to where it's just Toxapex and we're stalling back and forth. I'm not gonna play it out like that because of the sake of the life. It would be, I'd have to play up to a 200 turn game. My biggest mistake was staying in with Pheromosa when I knew that he just pivoted back to Pex on the struggle. There's no way he'd let me knock him out with struggle. He's not that bad. And then Lele getting toxic, obviously, but you know, why would he not have Scald? Well, I wouldn't expect him to not have either Haze or Scald on the nature of team that he had. So, or really even to go for toxic that particular turn. And so I think this might be an L. If we hit the Focus Blast on Corviknight, then not, because we could just come in and side shock around. But because of that, it's pretty unlikely that I'll be able to prevail in this one, unfortunately, guys. And so, especially with Pheromosa being gone and me not having rocks. If I had rocks, then you know. So we're just gonna have to slow play it then until I get my. He's too much in control to risk me attacking him. Well, it's not over, but so now I'll let the timer go down a bit, you know. He's never shown his attacking moves. Yep. And so now things get interesting, especially if he leaves his Blissey in. So now he's at a range where Lele kills him in 2. So he's gonna try to go to. Not even sure. He actually went Corviknight. Okay. So. So now I can side shine Blissey. We'd have to trade Blissey. So it gives me growth. Okay, fair enough. So now things get interesting because Landorus is no joke. But if I Psychic and he doesn't heal, he's in trouble. And so I have to go Landorus here, which is semi-risky. Right, but I figured he had to heal there. And so I'd assume he'd just Seismic Toss or Stealth Rock here. I'll U-turn first. Probably just Seismic Toss. Yeah. And then he goes for a Stealth Rock here. Just fine. Because I have to get the Landorus in on Pex or the Stealth Rock, right? And so he actually hards Corvi, which means soon I'll be able to 2-hit KO his entire team. Because, you know, obviously I get to defog. But I guess what is his other move? You know, What's the Blissy's other move? This flamethrower here. It could be teleport, but that doesn't make. I mean, based on how he's been playing, it could be teleport. If he has toxic, this is the turn he'd use it. So he goes for soft boiled, which doesn't say much. Let's see what it is. Thunder wave, okay. Which isn't horrible. That isn't horrible because the Blissey now cannot do shit to me. Which means he's gonna go to Toxapex here to heal, or it's just gonna seismic toss, okay. So Moltres low-key walls his entire team. Just funny. What an interesting turn of events, huh? So he probably went Pegs, yep. But as I said, he's now technically walled by me. Even if he knocks. Because Blissey, even with the low-key with the para, it's a blessing as the Blissey has to come in. We'll just flamethrower spam. Actually did realize I didn't get to heal there. So we roost here as he gets flame bodied. He's gonna heal, then go to Toxapex. And so this is where things get interesting, right? Because Scorching Sands first. He actually seismic toss. He probably predicted my landers there. What's seismic toss at? Because the problem is Lele can't get a switch unless something dies. Now he gets a kill when it comes in, but something would need to die for Stealth Rock couldn't be up. And so if Corviknight dies, I guess he can't beat my Toxapex. That's what I meant when I said I didn't want it to do a whole 200 turn game. The question is, what would I need for him to do in order for me to win pronto, right? So we'll just roost here. Seismic toss. He has 25 left. It's doing no damage, and he's burnt. But he has probably boots. Okay. Flamethrower here. So now it's getting interesting as we roost. Actually, seismic toss surprises me. Well, I guess that's that. Why wouldn't you seismic toss there? This guy is a goon. He should have definitely seismic toss there, banking on the hex, which he got, by the way. But he's using moves for every time I don't get looked. So get to roost here, and get to defog, stalling out all these seismic tosses. Unfortunately, we do have to be wary of. It's funny, the power hacks is actually helping us because he uses a move for every time I get parried. Only downside is the roost. So you just use the plus softball, for example. And as long as I'm in, I don't need to pressure defog as heavily. So he has 18 seismic tosses. I have 11 roosts. Come on, Molly. Nice. Moltres! The beautiful thing is I can actually attack him and do some damage. 14%. He's at 62 already. So we roost again here. Oh, Moltres. I know Moltres gonna break through. I ain't even worried about it. Easy roost, easy roost, easy roost. Oh, come on now. Easy roost. Easy roost. So he has 14 seismic toss. I gotta heal again. Yeah. Nice. So that's a soft boy here. Moltres with the strategic parahaxes, man. I swear. Don't get too strategic now, Moltres. Not too strategic. Yeah, okay. Not too strategic. You know, there's a little strategic. So let's defog here. Get rid of dumb. He's not strategic with his seismic tosses at all. like at all. The turns where he got the hacks, that's how you know homie's not even no brain cells going on right there. Like there are a couple times he got the luck when he needed it and didn't take advantage of it. And so I'm not gonna defog as much anymore. Stealth Rock's got 23. Let's do it this turn. See soft boils. And so I actually have just another round of seismic toss damage left. So it makes sense to it doesn't make sense to roost here. He has 9 seismic tosses left. Basically what I was thinking there was I have another round of seismic toss damage left, but Molly's gonna come through. Molly's gonna come through. I ain't worried about it. Fuck. That's game. He got the luck when he needed. Alright, so that's the but that was an easy win on my end, guys. I lost myself that game because I should have scouted for talk. These are like basic stuff. Scout for play the game in a way where something as high priority as Lele is kept well at all times. I didn't need to be that aggressive that early in the game because I had so many. If let's say he did go to whatever I was expecting at that moment, that was just a byproduct of impatience. I wanted to beat him quickly, and then it ended up biting me in the ass. Because what if he knocked there? There's so many reasons why actually that wasn't a timely play. Then not letting him getting away with the Faramosa because we were out playing there too. It's just a bunch of silly shit that we allowed. We gifted him that game. And so yeah, thanks for watching either way. I did enjoy this team and I enjoyed the game. Specs Lele is something that you guys should not sleep on as we'll continue climbing. But yeah, thanks for watching again and I'll see you the next time. Peace.